Hi everyone, I wanted to offer you an instructional video for week 8, but also to go over a few things with you from our updated syllabus. So I have updated our course syllabus for the entire semester, which is overwhelming. So if you're a person who sees this kind of information and starts getting overwhelmed, just look at it week by week, and know that in our class what we do is we take things and build on them. So your annotation exercises are definitely related to the annotated bibliography. You will essentially revise some of the annotation exercises you submitted and add one. We're building on things, so don't get too terribly stressed by that just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our updated syllabus schedule just to give you a sense of that. So for this week, I want you to note that we do have a couple of things to read and a video to watch. So the first thing is you want to read the Evaluating Sources chapter in our course text. It's a really important chapter, and I know I probably say this for every chapter, but once we start thinking about research and what is required in academic writing, being able to kind of assess and evaluate a source is really crucial because, like I've said from the beginning, we're inundated with information. It's really easy to find articles that seem to make sense, but we have to make sure that those are reliable sources. They are being written by people that don't have an ultimate agenda. They're being written by actual people because we have a lot of bot situations going on. So evaluating those sources is going to be pretty important, okay? So set aside some time. It's a quick chapter, but it's very, very useful and crucial for academic writing. Okay. Additionally, I want you to watch Jennifer Lee's TED Talk. Remember that she is somebody that Amy Choi mentions in her article. She references and quotes Lee. So this is a video that Lee has given about her hunt for General Tso, and that will make more sense when you watch it. But I also want you to read the article that kind of relates to that video and what put Lee on that path, okay? I also put a note here to make sure that you're keeping up with your reading journal because if you've looked at this week, you'll know that at the bottom for next week's assignment, I say, don't forget, you need to be keeping up with this because it's going to be due. For your reading journal for weeks 6, 7, and 8 will be due, after this week. So make sure that you're keeping up with those entries and everything. Okay. So for Monday, make sure you're watching this video. You can check that off your list. That's awesome. There's also a video that explains the paper topic portfolio. So please look over that video. Along with the rubric and guidelines for the assignment, and note that there, I believe, is at least one question in the participation quiz this week that's about that video, so definitely something to take some time to look over. The prompt for your writing discussion is going to be available, and that's due on Wednesday, and that is based on the course reading, so evaluating sources. You'll need to have that prepared, but I also want you to note that you'll have to read that chapter, but you'll also need to do some work with Jennifer Lee's article. You don't necessarily have to read it to do some of the evaluative work for it, but you'll need to have it available. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. It's not a really long read, but you don't necessarily have to read it for Wednesday's discussion. Okay. So the prompt is going to be posted for the paper topic discussion post, but what I want you to note about this week, it's a little bit different. You're actually going to be placed into small groups for this assignment. So when you go to the discussion area of D2L, you've already been placed in a group. So what you see for your discussion post is only going to be available for you and your group members. So what I want you to make sure that you're doing is, number one, letting me know if this is not what you're seeing, because I can only see so much when I'm looking at D2L. But I want you to make sure that you're keeping in mind that there is a big participation aspect of this week's paper topic discussion post on Friday. You'll need to engage with one another and kind of work together to essentially have discussions. They are online discussions. They're asynchronous, meaning they're not occurring at the same time, but they're discussions nonetheless because you'll be responding to one another. I want you to note that you've been placed in groups of 4 for the most part. And that is because 3 is very ideal. 3 is a good number, but I wanted to make it 4 just in case one person isn't quite participating as much. It's something I want you to get used to in preparation for when we do peer reviewing for your work. Because again, 3 is the ideal number for peer review because you exchange with 2 people, you get feedback from 2 people, but there's always the potential that there's one person who maybe is not pulling their own weight. I'm sure that's not going to happen in any of my classes this semester because you are all amazing rock stars, right? But it's kind of a just in case. And some of you have been placed in groups of 3 just because of the numbers in our classes. I do definitely want you to let me know if you are in a group and nobody is responding, nobody is participating, nobody is connecting. I'm going to be keeping an eye and monitoring those discussion posts generally, but just let me know if you're not getting any kind of discussion or feedback, okay? So the groups are going to be groups of 4, okay? So make sure if you're seeing something different, you let me know. So your writing discussion post based on the course text is on Wednesday. That is not in small groups. That's just for the whole class as we've done in the past. For Friday, you do have the paper topic discussion post in groups, and I've put a reminder here. You need to respond to everybody, and I have specific instructions on how to do that in the actual post area, okay? You need to make sure that you've responded to everybody and engaged with them by Sunday. That's essentially what I'm looking. I'm going to, put the cutoff there. So make sure that I would suggest you post earlier than Friday, but you certainly don't have to. And make sure you're taking some time after you post to engage with one another. For next week, you're going to have to revise your annotation exercises because, again, you're going to revise those assignments to include in your annotated bibliography assignment. So I'm going to be working nonstop this week to try to get feedback on both of your annotation exercises and get that feedback to you. So this week, expect to see some shifts in your grades because I'm going to be updating a lot of grades and information. So keep an eye out on D2L for an assignment, or I'm sorry, an announcement where I say, hey, these are done. Go in and look at your feedback, and I'll try to give you some directions on how to do that. I can't show you, D2L doesn't allow me to show you where to go, but I'll try to type out the instructions about how you view your feedback from me. And so for some of it, for the discussion posts, I'm just going to respond to your post, but for your actual assignments that you've submitted, like the annotation exercises that I'm going to work on this week, it will be your paper with my feedback and comments electronically given to you, but I'll give you some instructions on how to view that this week. So based on the feedback you get from me, you're going to revise, edit, and update those, and you'll essentially combine them into your new document, your new annotated bibliography. Okay, you're going to have 3 annotations, so you'll have to add an additional annotation for Lee's text. Okay, so hers is your 3rd annotation. Okay, so just something to think about. That's something to revise and edit. So I'm going to jump into the next week just so you see how this kind of all comes together. Okay, so next week we're actually going to work on peer review for your annotated bibliography assignment. That's why I'm saying here, I'm going to give you your feedback from your annotation exercises. You need to combine those into a single document and then add a 3rd annotation for Lee's work. So summarize it, have a citation, etc. And then you'll have one single document that you'll essentially post in the writing discussion post. Again, that's down the line, right? So I don't want you to get too nervous or too stressed about that. I'm just trying to give you a view ahead. Okay, so again, our class is about building on things that we've done in the past. You did those annotation exercises. You may need to do some revisions and things, and then you add a final entry for Lee's work. Okay, so that is the syllabus schedule. I want you to take a look at it. If you are not too stressed, look through the next weeks and kind of see what's going on, but don't push it if you are an anxious person, which I completely understand. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. So what I want to do right now is to show you where to go and what to do for this week. Okay, so I'm going to pull up D2L and show you the area for, the content, right? This is the content area for the week. It will look a little different once I'm completely done with it, right? So you'll have our first, this instructional video, which I'll post when I'm done. There's the paper portfolio instructional video, which just walks through that assignment. I want it to be on your mind. I want you to be thinking about it and kind of seeing it as one of the big goals to reach by the end of the semester. Here's an update updated version of the syllabus that's complete. I want you to let me know if you see anything that is incorrect or needs to be updated or explained, anything. There is the week 8 participation quiz. Make sure that you are attending to those questions. It's just a real quick thing. Just make sure you watch the videos, right? Y'all, there's a link to Grammarly, and I need to note that in the past, I haven't really encouraged people to use Grammarly, but I see it as a tool that, anything that is going to be helpful to us is something that we should use. If it's a tool, if it's a resource, I always encourage you to utilize Microsoft Word when you're composing your discussion posts, because it will help catch some of those surface level grammar, spelling, any of those kinds of errors. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Grammarly is the same way, and it even will give you an explanation about why it's telling you to change or correct something. So why not use it? You ultimately are responsible for what you write, so if Grammarly doesn't tell you to do it, you still have to make some changes on your own, but Grammarly is something that will offer some assistance as well. With each week, the grading expectations go up because we are getting deeper into the semester. My expectations are getting higher because you know what to do. You know what my expectations are, right? So just something to keep in mind, okay? So that's why I have a link there for Grammarly. Here is the paper portfolio rubric. Right, so I have the video up here, but I put the rubric down here because it's just a lot of information. Just watch the video for now. I go over the rubric, but it's here if you need it. There's a template that I'm offering for the final paper as well. These things are going to be posted in the content overview area, so I'm just putting them here in case you are one of those people who wants to work and look ahead, okay? Here is a link for Lee's article, okay? And here is a link for Lee's TED Talk. All right, I'm going to put links for our discussion posts as well, but I want you to note that on the updated syllabus, you also have links for the video and the article, etc. Okay, so I'm going to go to our discussion area. I'm going to scroll down. Where am I? Okay, so here you'll see not only the writing post, again, that's open to everybody, and this is asking you to look at Lee's article. Okay, look at her article and utilize what you learned in the chapter reading this week. So you need to evaluate her article as a source. Ask the questions that are referenced by the editors, Lunsford and all the other editors in the chapter. There are specific questions written in the chapter that we need to ask ourselves when we're working with any kind of research or source, okay? So that is doing the work with Jennifer Aitley's article that we're reading for Friday's post, right? And I've given you some context and background here and some links. I put a reminder about Microsoft Word and Grammarly. And here is the group, right? So it should, like I said, only be you in your group area, but let me know if you're seeing something else. And so what I want you to do is to really work to analyze Lee's work, analyze for, her video. So what is she arguing? This is not just summary. This is actually pushing your ideas a bit, okay? Asking some other questions. And I want you to note that your name needs to be the subject line, right? So if you go into the discussion area, start a new thread, put your name here. This is your name. This should already be assigned to you. This is something where, because I'm the instructor, it's showing something a little different. So make sure that your name is a subject line because that really helps me with the grading. But you're going to respond to one another in the post. Okay, so if I'm the first group member, I'm going to offer my analysis of the video. I'm going to offer my analysis of the article. And then in my third paragraph, I'm going to, like, if I were investigating into some sort of food topic, what would it be and why? Lee shares her journey, shares what she wanted to accomplish, why she was searching for general, so all this information. What would we do if we had that opportunity? What would spark passion in us to do this work? So 3 paragraphs overall, and then I need you to ask your group members 2 questions, thoughtful, thought-provoking. And I put some reminders here about, okay, make sure that you're responding to one another and not starting new threads. Threads are kind of, your initial response is a thread, okay? So you're going to be in the paper topic discussion area, you're going to start a new thread with your name, you're going to offer your information, and so when you're going to respond to other people, you need to click on their threads and reply within it. Don't reply to the whole group, just reply to that person's post, okay? This is going to make more sense when you see it, and I've put, detailed instructions right here just as reminders. Make sure that you've posted your initial response by Friday, so your answers, but you need to make sure that you're going in and engaging with one another and doing all of that work by Sunday. Okay, so set aside some time. You can get it done early, but I need you to be checking back and forth to see if other people are responding. It seems like a busy week, but it should be fun and enjoyable. Let me know if you have any questions.